The Milkman Podcast. 9 episodes of pure mediocrity.
Done enough with that.
Can I just do a community shout out? Listen to the Milkman, follow the Milkman Podcast.
After a 9-month hiatus, the self-proclaimed Milkman will address the future of this poor excuse for a podcast. Speaking of excuses, what excuses will he make for his hibernation?
There's a new Raiders podcast in town, Instagram account, YouTube channel.
He's having a crack. He's having a crack. If you
follow him, get around at Raiders fans.
Only one way to find out.
The Milkman's there.
Yep, a new one. Absolutely.
Right here on the Milkman Podcast.
The Milkman's there.
Well, I'm back. As you can see, the thumbnail is still Tom Starling, so I guess not much has changed. Man, it's good to be back. You're tuned in to the Milkman Podcast.
With the ball, we have seen it all, and now we're seeing even more. And Strange, he is away for the Raiders, supported Weeks. That is the most remarkable rugby league moment in the most remarkable rugby league season, in the most remarkable sport that has played on this planet.
Hello and welcome back to the Milkman Podcast. 9 months later. This is very strange. Being back in front of the camera, I'm not gonna lie. But here we are, we're here. You know what? I was gonna dance around the subject. I was gonna, I haven't got a script or anything, but I was gonna, sort of ease my way into it, but I think it's best I just be completely honest and just let you guys know what happened and why I decided to back away from the Milkman Podcast and its accounts attached. But first of all, I will say, if you're watching on YouTube, sorry for the poor quality. The more things change, the more they stay the same, I guess. But I have got some inclusions into the background here. If you are watching, you can see I've got my signed Raiders ball from 2010 and a signed picture of Alan Tarn. So, my favourite Raider of all time. So there you go. Just a little bit, but obviously to put them in, I'm having to sit in front of a window. So you're getting flashbanged by the window because my camera quality is so terrible. Sacrifices, am I right? Anyway, let's get straight into this. So, why was I away for so long? Short answer is university. If you rewatch, and please don't do that to yourself because they are terrible. I've had to rewatch a few of them just to get the clips that you saw in the intro, or the start of this video, I should say, not the intro, but at the start of this video you saw I had to go through and get the perfect moments. Don't rewatch. They are terrible. So that's one thing I'm trying to change, actually make this podcast watchable and listenable. That's why I've sort of put some theatrics together, especially for the intro. I've tried to make it a little bit more. But anyway, I'm really dodging the stuff here. I'm really going on tangents again. Again, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Anyway, got burnt out because of university. I was going to separate the two and say university and then burnt, but no, I think the reality is I got burnt out because of university. I shouldn't have gone without a trace. I really should have said something. It's a great regret just leaving high and dry. It's a great regret not continuing to do one or the other, as in, doing the news stuff on Instagram and Twitter, or it's a great regret not doing, like, picking one of the Instagram and Twitter stuff, like making news and quotes and all that sort of stuff. And the podcast, it's a great regret not doing one or the other instead of just backing off and quitting entirely. It's something I do regret, and not saying anything is the big one for me. Just going, nah, all good. I'm out. See you later. I didn't handle it very well. Obviously, not many listeners to tell. I'm joking, but still, it's common, not common courtesy, but it's courtesy that you do sort of go, this is what's happened. Sorry, be back in 2026. Instead, shouldn't have done that. So that's first reason. Second reason is A, a little embarrassing, and B, I think it's a little, I don't know the word, but you know what? I'm just going to tell you. I, in a sense, as a journalism student and someone who wants to go into journalism, wasn't sure what I wanted to do in terms of what direction and what sport to cover, right? And my family have been telling me for years, start a podcast, Mitch, it'll be great for you. Start an Instagram account, start all this stuff, it'll be great. So I did with this, and I tried it. I loved it, but I wanted to make sure it was what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure rugby league was what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure the Canberra Raiders, if I needed to go into a niche, instead of NRL as a whole, if I wanted to go into a niche, the Canberra Raiders were it. I wanted to make sure of that. So what I did, I also, whilst burnt out, whilst not, switched on, decided while I was already away, because I was like, okay, I'm going to finish university, come back in the 2-week break. Yeah, it would have been the 2-week break, and fully, and come back. It's just to test the waters and see what happens. I tested the waters with so many different things, so many different times, that, and I would sort of go away, come back to all these different things. I even tried doing all sports and being a jack of all trades. That sucked. Never, that was terrible. I don't know what was the problem there. I don't know why I even thought that was a good idea in the first place. It wasn't. But, I tried different things, and none really compared to the greatest game of all rugby league, and none of them, hit home like the Canberra Raiders did. I've only been a fan of one team my entire life. I've only been a fan of one team for my entire life, and that is the Canberra Raiders. So just felt right that I don't regret. Look, I regret not saying anything. I don't regret testing the waters and seeing what was right for me. There you go. There you go. That's what you're getting. But now, right? So they're the two main things: university and testing the waters, seeing what was right for me. One of which it is what it is. It is what it is. So there you go. They're the excuses I've got. Are they good? I don't know. You tell me. I'm just being honest. That's what happened. That is what happened. And by the time, I was finished fiddling around with the testing the water, seeing what was right for me, by the time I finished doing that, the season was well over. The season was over. I couldn't just come back and go, hey, we're back. It's round 23, but I'm back in time for finals, which I will not address on this podcast at all. I'm not talking about the finals. I noticed I was very negative last year. I was very, very negative Nancy. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen again, because before the Sharks game last year, one of the great games I watched, and it sucks that I never got to talk about the Mudgee Miracle, Miracle at Mudgee, whatever you want to call it. Sucks I never got to talk about that. Wow, it's in my intro. If you couldn't tell, that's what it was, and I love that so much. I'm still speechless. It's still the greatest moment I've seen as a Raiders fan, and I've seen us make the grand final. That was amazing. But it does not compare to the Miracle at Mudgee. I'm telling you now, that was, wow. I'm still taken aback by it. I'm still speechless. Still speechless. How good. Anyway, enough of that. What was I on about? That is a great question, isn't it? I need to stop going on tangents. What was I talking about? But anyway, how'd you enjoy that jump cut, by the way? Obviously, people listening won't know that I'm actually putting effort in. Instead of using StreamYard or whatever, I'm actually going to start recording on this. Camera quality is the same. I've got to get a camera and a mic. I don't think the mic quality is that bad, though. So, I don't know. But I do need a camera because this is ridiculous. This actually is terrible. So, it's got to change. And it's got to change. But going from what made me stop, I kind of want to talk about the future and, what to expect. So, like I said, I'm going to try and be a bit more positive. I've been very pessimistic and I wouldn't say cynic, but I've definitely been pessimistic over a long period of my life. And, sometimes it's funny, sometimes, but other times I just felt like it was a bit of a downer to watch what I had to say. So I definitely want to try and fix that. I definitely want to try and be more positive. That's one thing. Again, not using StreamYard anymore because of how many times it cut out what I was trying to say and all that sort of stuff. And obviously I've got an intro and kind of an outro, not really. It's kind of just you'll see, it's just, bit of a song playing and the same thing as the intro, and it's nothing special, but that's what it is. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I got myself a TikTok account as well, so some short form stuff's going to go on there, some clips, all that sort of stuff's going to go on there, some interesting stuff. I don't think anything from this video is ever going to make it on there, but we'll see. Yeah, it's gonna be more or less the same thing, more or less of the same mediocrity, more or less of the same bloke who, has a bit of a pessimism problem. That's how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be. So, but I'm gonna try and fix that. Because, like I said, it was a terrible watch, the ones that I watched, the episodes I watched. But, it's episode 10, that's a milestone. It took 9 months to get from 9 to 10, but, is what it is. Is what it is. That's how it works. But this year, promise, we're getting the full year. We're getting the full year in of Raiders football. How exciting. I don't think there's long left. I think there's 38 days until the season starts. So it's very exciting. Very exciting. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I've been hanging for it. I've never been this, in need of football in my entire life. So round 1 cannot come soon enough. I'm so excited. And we get it a week early because of Vegas. And it's just something to look forward to. I think just under a month, or just over a month, not long to go now. I'm just thinking now, is there anything else I needed to talk about? Because this will be the shortest podcast episode. This will be fine as a YouTube video, but I kind of have to put it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because I need to explain myself, and some people get their content from there. So I've got to think of something to think of. I've got to think of something to talk about pretty quick, smart. Oh yeah, here's what I can talk about. I need to stop saying and That's beyond the point, but still, had a bit of a brand refresh here at the Milkman podcast. Let me know what you think. The logos, the new posts and stuff that will come up on Monday, the 24th, 26th. No, it's Australia Day. The 27th, Tuesday the 27th. Post will resume, barring any breaking news between now and then. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I'm really excited. New not templates. Yeah, I guess it's templates. New look, Milkman, Instagram and Twitter. I still call it Twitter. New look, Instagram and Twitter. Obviously, the Milkman podcast is now the home of undeniable mediocrity. I don't know if anyone noticed that on the bios. I should have said that to open the video, but I didn't. So it's just something I've got to go forth with and practice, I guess. Hello, welcome to the Milkman Podcast, your home of Canberra Raiders content and the home of undeniable mediocrity. See, there you go. I've got that on camera now. That is good. I'm going to take that, run with it. That's going to be the intro from now on. There you go. First one back. It's going to be a little bit iffy. First one back, but it's definitely going to be a little bit short. But, you know, we'll once I get actual things to talk about, then we'll be on. You know, obviously the milk bar's staying around. Oh, phew. I just heard, I don't know how many people listen or watch Exhale, so there must be enough to hear that. Yes, it will be back, the milk bar, you know, around the NRL, all that sort of stuff. It'll just look very different, and I won't have to stay on top of clicking and try and getting things sorted. And when I need a clip or something, I can just put it in instead of having to find it, and a lot of dead space being in the air, and I can cut around stuff and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this new way of doing things is very good. I've had to do a bit of editing for uni last year, so I'm kind of, you know, what do you call it? I'm not a pro at Premiere Pro, but I'm kind of, I kind of know the ropes now. I kind of know kind of what I'm doing, so that helps. I didn't want to just chuck myself in the deep end. I needed practice, and at the time I just wanted to start the podcast, get it underway, and get going. That's what I did. Here we are. 9 months later, almost a year later now. Well, almost a year. No, not even. Yeah, no, 10 months. 10 months since we started, 9 months since the last episode. But I'm back. When I come back, I don't know. I don't know when the podcast will be back in full swing again. I'm not sure. If I were to guess, that is a great question. If I were to guess, it'd be in mid-February, I reckon. I'm going to come back as far as the podcast goes. But again, Tuesday the 27th, posted back to normal, like nothing ever happened, even though I've sort of kind of explained myself here. Hopefully you understand. I'm thinking, just because lucky number, and again, I don't have a schedule yet. I don't have full understanding of what's going on with there's a new Adelaide Uni merger And it's leaving more questions than answers for students coming back like myself. So, yeah, it wasn't very timely. They weren't very timely in responses because they sent everyone a study plan, and mine included classes that I've already completed. So I sent it off. They sent it back, and it took them a long time to send it back. And by then, all the classes I needed to enroll in were taken. One of the most important class I needed to enroll in was full. So yeah, that's great. So I'm in communication with I'm not going through the uni. The course coordinator is an absolute legend. I've had her before. She's coordinated courses I've been in before. She's an absolute legend. I'm just going through her rather than the university stuff that. But anyway, no schedule just yet. I will get onto that as soon as possible. But I reckon just because it's my lucky number, the 18th of February, I'll come back full time and we'll do like my year preview, what I think will happen with the Raiders. Will we make the 8? Will we win a final? Will we blitz the competition? Will we win the minor premiership back to back? Who knows? I'll figure it out for you. And I started this thing last year, and I'll do the same thing this year. I started the Milkman Medal, and it was going to be like the Dally M, but way less prestigious. It was just going to be the Milkman Podcast Award for Player of the Year. It was a 3-2-1 system. And I obviously didn't get around to finishing that. So this year, I'm going from round 1, actually watching the games instead of the stat sheets, because I had to play a bit of catch up because I think I started it towards the end of the last year's podcast proceedings. So I'll actually watch the game and go, he played well. He played really well. He gets 3 votes. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in the off season. I don't know when that'll be. I don't know when the season even ends. I don't know when the grand final is meant to be held. So I'll figure it out. But, again, don't quite have a schedule yet. But as soon as I know, you will too. I'll probably do Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday and Friday. So Wednesday the 18th, Friday the 20th. It sounds pretty good, actually. So February 18th and 20th, I reckon the podcast will come back. It might just be the 18th. I don't know. That week, I'll just do the 18th. And by then, I'll definitely have a schedule in mind and hopefully everything at uni sorted out. And yeah, so speaking of, I'll make this promise here and now. Just before I end off, just before I say farewell until the 18th of February, but the Instagram and Twitter will still be going, I'll make this promise right here. My time management will be better. Everything to do with it will be better my communication, more importantly, will be better. So if something needs to happen and I can only get 1 episode out in a week because I'm just flat out the other days because it's my last year now, so which is a great relief, something for me to look forward to, especially. So I promise that I will be more avid in communication and letting you guys know what's going on. I'll be sure to make sure my time I'm all over time management. So if I can only put out 1 episode a week or 1 episode a week for whatever reason, it isn't my fault. That's the big thing here, because that was all my fault. That last year, I think I said unforeseen circumstances delayed a day for one of them. I'm sure there was my reasons for 1 or 2 of them. But again, communication will be better. So if something happens, you will know, instead of like, this bloke's a bit of a tosser. Like, what's he doing? Why I'm sure no one actually cared that much. Let's be honest here. But I will make sure that I'm all over it. And yeah, there's my promise. I've got to stick to it now because I've got, I don't know how many people able to keep me accountable, but I will be more. Time management's a big one here, but communication as well. I think they go hand in hand in a sense in this instance for sure. But anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching the return of the Milkman podcast, episode 10. Technically, I'm counting. Wow, it is fantastic to be back. This is definitely what I'm meant to be doing. I can assure you, I know that now. The warm welcome back has been great, especially from the kind people at the Milkman podcast. No, hasn't been very kind from him. He's been pretty tough on himself, actually, this whole thing. No, I'm kidding. That's not been the case. The kind people at the Green Machine podcast, they've been very warm and welcome back to myself. If you see the Instagram comments and stuff like that, they've been great. Yeah, it's just, this community is fantastic. I'm so happy to be here. This is definitely what I'm meant to be doing. I know that now, but yeah. So thank you very much for watching episode 10 of the Milkman podcast. Can't even remember what I said halfway through that was so good, but that's the intro. I won't steal that and use that twice because that's so nice. You can only use that once. So yeah, I'll leave you to it. It's Saturday. Enjoy the Triple J Hottest 100. That will be going while this is out. But if you are, hopefully the one you wanted to win wins. Never happens that way. But anyway, see you guys on the 18th. Regularly scheduled programming come the 27th. Can't wait. See you then.